The first $25,000 is the most important money you'll ever save. Have you ever opened your bank account on payday, felt excited for about 5 minutes, and then watched your paycheck disappear? Rent, car payment, insurance, groceries, a few subscriptions you forgot you even had, maybe a dinner out because you've had a stressful week. Then you check your account again. You're basically back where you started. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of Americans work hard every single month, yet it feels like they're running on a treadmill that's getting faster every year. Most people believe becoming wealthy starts with saving your first $1 million. It doesn't. It starts much earlier. It starts with your first $25,000. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about the first $25,000 is the most important money you'll ever save. If you're someone who feels like you're working hard but never getting ahead financially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Here's the thing. The first $25,000 isn't important because it's a huge amount of money. It's important because of what it represents. It represents control. It represents freedom. And most importantly, it represents momentum. Here's what most people don't realize. The hardest part of building wealth isn't investing. It isn't picking stocks. It isn't buying real estate. The hardest part is proving to yourself that you're capable of keeping money. Let's imagine two people. Alex earns $65,000 a year. Jordan earns $95,000 a year. Most people immediately assume Jordan will become wealthier, but after 10 years, Alex has saved $25,000 and invested consistently. Jordan still lives paycheck to paycheck because every raise turned into a nicer apartment, newer car, and more expensive lifestyle. Who is actually wealthier? Alex, because wealth isn't measured by income. It's measured by ownership. According to data from the Federal Reserve, many Americans would struggle to cover an unexpected emergency expense with cash. That's not because everyone has a low income. It's often because spending grows just as fast as income. Look, this isn't about blaming anyone. Life is expensive, housing costs have increased, healthcare isn't cheap, food costs more than it did just a few years ago. But lifestyle inflation is real too. Every raise feels like permission to spend instead of save, and that's where people get stuck. Now, you might be thinking, $25,000? That sounds impossible. It definitely feels that way when you're starting from zero, but let's break the math down. If you save $100 every week, that's about $5,200 per year. Without investment returns, you'd reach $25,000 in less than 5 years. Save $200 a week, now you're there in roughly 2.5 years. Add investment growth, tax refunds, bonuses, and occasional extra income. And suddenly this goal becomes much more realistic than it first appeared. The point isn't speed, the point is consistency. This is where it gets really interesting. Your first $25,000 changes the way your brain thinks about money. Psychologists call this identity-based behavior. When you've never had savings, every dollar feels temporary. You expect money to leave, but once you've built a meaningful financial cushion, your identity changes. You stop saying, "I hope I can save." Instead, you start saying, "I'm someone who saves." That tiny shift changes almost every financial decision afterward. Think about climbing a mountain. The steepest section isn't near the top, it's right at the bottom. Your legs burn, you question yourself, you wonder if it's even worth continuing. But once you've climbed high enough, the trail becomes easier, your confidence grows. Saving money works exactly the same way. The first $25,000 is the steepest part of the climb. Now let's talk investing. Imagine you have $25,000 invested, earning an average annual return of 8%. After 1 year, your investments earn roughly $2,000. You didn't work overtime for that money. You didn't ask for a raise. Your money started working for you. The next year, you're earning returns on both your original investment and the previous gains. That's compound growth. Most people understand the concept. Very few actually experience it because they quit before reaching meaningful amounts. Here's another mistake people make. They wait for the perfect time. They tell themselves, "I'll save once I make 6 figures. I'll invest after I pay off everything. I'll start next year." The problem is, next year turns into 5 years. 5 years turns into 10, and suddenly you're wondering where all the time went. The perfect time almost never arrives. You have to create it. Let's tell a quick story. Imagine Sarah. She's 28 years old. She earns an average salary, nothing extraordinary. For years, she convinced herself she wasn't making enough to save. Then one day, she decided something had to change. She canceled subscriptions she never used, started meal prepping 3 days each week, sold old electronics sitting in a closet, used every tax refund to invest instead of shop, saved every bonus instead of upgrading her lifestyle. 3 years later, She crossed $25,000. Did her life become perfect? No, but something incredible happened. Financial emergencies stopped feeling like disasters. Her confidence skyrocketed. She negotiated a better job because she wasn't desperate. She invested consistently. Her first $25,000 didn't just change her bank account, it changed her decisions. Here's what most people don't realize. Money creates options. Options reduce stress. Reduced stress leads to better decisions. Better decisions usually create more money. It's a positive cycle. Unfortunately, living paycheck to paycheck creates the opposite cycle. One emergency creates debt. Debt creates stress. Stress leads to emotional spending. Then more debt follows. Breaking that cycle starts with savings. So, how do you actually reach $25,000? Step 1. Track every dollar for 1 month. Not to judge yourself, just to understand where your money actually goes. Step 2. Automate your savings. If you never see the money, you're far less likely to spend it. Step 3. Increase your income whenever possible. Ask for raises. Develop valuable skills. Take on freelance work. Sell things you don't use. Income matters, but only if your spending doesn't rise with it. Step 4. Invest consistently in diversified, long-term investments instead of chasing the latest trend. Step 5. Celebrate progress. Your first $1,000 matters. Your first $5,000 matters. Your first $10,000 matters. Each milestone builds momentum toward $25,000. Now you might be thinking, but what if I have debt? Good question. High interest debt should absolutely be a priority, but even while paying it down, having a small emergency fund can prevent you from relying on credit cards the next time life throws you a surprise. Remember, personal finance isn't about perfection. It's about making better decisions one step at a time. Here's the biggest lesson. The first $25,000 isn't magical because of the number itself. It's magical because of the person you become while earning it. You become more patient, more disciplined, more confident, more intentional. Those qualities are what eventually build six-figure and even seven-figure wealth. The money is simply the evidence. So if you're sitting at $500, keep going. If you're sitting at $5,000, keep going. If you're halfway there, keep going. Because one day you'll look back and realize the hardest part wasn't building wealth. It was believing you could. And once you crossed that first $25,000, everything else started to feel possible. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more practical financial education, and let me know in the comments. How much have you saved toward your first $25,000? No matter where you're starting, every dollar is one step closer to financial freedom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.